Hi, friends. Have you ever felt hesitant hope for something better, but you're afraid it might not work out? Maybe the last few seasons of life you took caution and you were unsure of getting your hopes up and if it was even worth it. But what if I told you that hope, real, grounded, unshakable hope, can transform the way that you see your future? What if that's the very thing that could change your next season, your new year, and even your life? Let's talk about why it's time to get your hopes up. Welcome to There Will Be Joy. I'm your host, Lauren Alonso, and I am a wife and Southern mama of four and counting. I'm that crazy friend of yours who's always ready to dream big with you, cheer you on as you dance to the beat of your own drum, and help you find the silver lining in every situation. I'm here as your host to help inspire you to live with joy, equip you with every listen, and empower you in your journey. I believe that life is a series of stories worth telling. And in this podcast, I'm going to share my own stories, the stories of others, and practical tools to help you explore how to live with intention and purpose no matter what is thrown your way. My hope is that you smile a lot, cry a little, and laugh so hard that eventually you pee your pants. Not kidding, friend. You are welcome at our table, so pull up a seat. I have been reflecting a lot lately, especially as I prepare to welcome another baby early next year. Some of you know my previous birth experience with my son Abel. Well, it did not go as planned. It was not what I hoped for at all, what I envisioned to have a home birth. I literally had every detail planned. I had fresh flowers brought in from a local farm that I knew was pesticide free, and my crunchiness comes out. The birth pool was blown up. I was ready to go. I was taking the midwife's brew and trying to naturally induce labor. At 42 weeks, it turned into a hospital induction. Now I'm like, what if this birth does not go the way that I plan it? How do I prepare my heart for the unknown? Am I holding on to fears from past experiences that I need to release in this new chapter? What happens if I get my hopes up? Last week, my midwife actually challenged me to start envisioning my birth. This is a moment that I've been hesitant for, and I'll be honest, as hopeful of a person as I am, it is something that has come from a lot of hurt and pain. And I've tried to turn things around, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. That experience of a hospital birth not going as planned, not going natural, it left me with some fears that I knew looking me square in the eyes was going to happen at some point during preparing for this new birth. But as I look ahead to another home birth, instead, I'm choosing hope. It's not about ignoring the risks or pretending everything will be perfect, because let's face it, life's just not. It's about trusting that God's plans are good. And even when they don't look the way that we expect them to, He is still good. Holding on to that truth has given me peace in this season, and I hope it encourages you too. So I want to give you some practical steps for cultivating joyful expectation. Let's talk about. Hey mama, have you ever wished that you had a healthier, natural remedy right at your fingertips for those everyday moments, like soothing your little ones during seasonal changes or even their little boo-boos? Well, with Young Living Oils, you can do just that. From boosting wellness in your home to making simple swaps for chemical-free alternatives, these essential oils have been a game changer for us. Imagine a home filled with safe, natural solutions that you can trust, while also boosting your immune system. Ready to embrace a healthier lifestyle? Let's make it happen together. Click the link in the show notes to get started. Let's talk about how to shift our mindset towards joyful expectation for the new year or the next season of life. Especially as we're looking at 2025. Here are 5 practical ways to prepare your heart and mind for 2025. All right, number 1, if you're taking notes, is to focus on things above. Have you ever had one of those moments that was really tough, but you laughed to keep yourself from crying? I think we've all been there. If so, let me know what that experience was, because now you're on the other side of it, right? I heard some simple practice recently that I absolutely love. When a situation feels overwhelming, say out loud, this is good. Take a deep breath. This is good. Even if you don't fully believe it yet, it helps redirect our thoughts to look for the good. And it also helps remind me of the old hymn that goes, when peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. That hymn was played through my little Baptist church in Cheddar, South Carolina, growing up, and it has stuck with me. So when I get stopped at every red light on the way to an appointment, running late with 3 kids, instead of losing my cool, I chuckle to myself and I say, this is good. And I kind of laugh at myself because I don't know that I believe it yet, but saying it gets me there. Start by grounding your thoughts in truth. Verses like Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. This verse reminds me that God's plans are good. Don't they remind you of that too? Okay, number 2 is what you seek, you'll find. Have you ever noticed that when you start looking for something like a yellow car or a blue minivan, if you're a mom of many, you start to see it everywhere. That's the power of focus, or what we also call the law of attraction. Instead of bracing for what might go wrong, intentionally look for the blessings each and every day. Make it a habit to write down one thing that you're excited about and looking forward to each day. I did this with my gratitude practice before. I'd be like, I'm grateful for these things, and it's probably something that happened the day before. And then I would be like, I'm looking forward to ... I really need to get back in the practice of that because it really does draw the good to you. And I love that practice as well. It's amazing how joy finds you when you're looking for it. Even in a day of wiping stinky butts and reheating your breakfast for the 3rd time, you can find the good if you're looking for it. All right, number 3 is taking every thought captive. We all know those people, the ones who suffer from something we call in the South stinking thinking. When you're around them, they drain you. Every conversation just makes you feel heavy. I want to encourage you that while there is a time and a place to sort out the reality of negative things, we don't want to live in that place. One of my all-time favorite scriptures is 2 Corinthians 10:5, and it says, take every thought captive and make it obedient to Christ. When fear or negativity creeps in, challenge those thoughts. Our minds are constantly trying to prove and find proof that we're right. To prove our own thoughts and beliefs, it's a form of survival, actually. We will seek out ways to prove that we are right. So if we have a thought, we will find proof and convince ourselves that all the what if scenarios that we're playing out in our mind will come to fruition, whether they're good or they're bad, to make sure that we are correct. This is called coming into agreement. And when you come into agreement with a thought, you start believing it and then living it in your life. Instead of taking on negative mindsets, we need to make habits, like get in the habit of finding a promise that God has already declared over our lives in Scripture and come into agreement with those things instead, that are righteous and holy, or remind ourselves of God's past faithfulness. We will transform our worried nature into a place of hope if we do. Hey friends, if you love simplifying life with handpicked treasures for your home and family, you've got to check out our Amazon storefront. I've curated shopping lists for everything from kids and motherhood to holidays, crafting, and even essential oil DIY supplies. Plus, you'll find my favorite picks for cooking and family activities. Head to the link in the show notes to explore and find something special that brings you joy every day. All right, number 4 is protect your peace. This is one of my favorite illustrations, and you've probably heard it a million times or some variation of it. But let's talk about boundaries. Oh, it's a dreaded word, isn't it? It seems so negative and so heavy. Boundaries are something that are a must when you're cultivating joy in your life. Boundaries are good. They are healthy. They are like gates. Imagine that your life is protected by this pretty little fence. okay? Your life sits inside the walls of this fence. And it's necessary to have that fence to keep out anything that you don't want in your life or you don't need in your life to protect your family, right? However, boundaries are more like a gate where you control who comes in and who goes out and when. You are in control, friend. We don't realize it, or maybe we just seem to overlook the challenges that we face in life that come at us. We're ultimately responsible for how we respond and how far we allow them to affect us. I urge you to protect your peace at all cost. That includes family members, friendships, and relationships that are costing us peace. I'll talk more about that in a future episode, especially as we near the holidays, because everyone needs a little reminder. Boundaries for family members. Here are some things we need. Good, healthy boundaries in that we sometimes shrug off or we normalize. And without realizing it, we come into agreement with these simply by exposure to the negativity. If we're allowing our lives to be consuming all the time what's in front of us, whether it's social media or news, TV shows or podcasts, I know a lot of people who suffer from paranoia simply because of the things that they're scrolling through, exposing their minds to, and letting that doom set in. Instead, you can simply replace these things with uplifting things, worship music, or your favorite jazz music, Christmas music, whatever, encouraging podcasts, or a good book. And for my true crime friends, maybe save those binges for another season. No judgment there. All right, number 5 is releasing control. Lastly, surrender your plans to God. Proverbs 16:3 says, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. Ultimately, trusting him with the unknown opens the door for peace and allows you to embrace the present moment fully. It's almost like there's this lighter burden to carry when we remind ourselves that we're not in control and that God is. Instead of trying to figure it out all on our own, surrender your plans to God, whether it's a big event or just bedtime. His plans might be a beautiful chaos, but where joy often hides. Friends, I am preaching to the choir on this one. I want to challenge you to journal about areas where you might be holding too tightly to control and ask God to help you trust his timing. Use reminders like sticky notes, alarms labeled "Let It Go" to practice this discipline consistently. All right, I want you to know that I am literally sitting in this with you in this season. I am walking through the valley of doubt and disappointment, especially around my home birth. I talk about joy a lot, but it's because I'm constantly seeking it to find it because my life has not been easy. It's been filled with challenging things like the loss of a child, an adoption through foster care, a husband who I've lost as well, and situations that are constantly out of my control. But here's the thing. I could go into this birth thinking about all the things that could go wrong again, and I would find a million reasons to live in fear. But I'm reminding myself daily, even moment by moment, that God is not out to harm me, that he will protect me, and regardless of the outcome, he loves me. And he loves you too, friend. So I might as well be spending my time getting my hopes up and looking for goodness, not living in fear and panic, but reminding myself that peace and joy are mine for the taking. Friend, I don't know what circumstances you're facing right now and in the coming season ahead of you, but I do know the same is true for you that is for me. Remind yourself to breathe in and say, this is good. Start focusing your attention on what is good. Take those negative thoughts captive, bring them into alignment with what the Lord says. Protect your peace. You are the gatekeeper of your mind, and release the weight and the burden of control back to him. If this episode resonates with you, I would love for you to join me in the Joyful Life Workshop. The doors are officially open. In this workshop, I will walk you through the Joyful Life Goal Planner. I have handcrafted a step-by-step process to help you start your year with a fresh outlook. This is a 3-part series all about creating a vision for your life that's rooted in hope, intention, and purpose. I will walk you through the steps to rest and reflect, refresh your values and vision for the coming season, and get ready to embrace your next season of life as many times as you like. By the end of this workshop, you'll have a vision for the next 12 months, 3 years, 5 years, and beyond. You will know how to align your daily choices to your goals to help you achieve the life that you have yet to live. You'll be creating healthy boundaries for yourself, know exactly how to create joy in your life, and live with joyful expectations to get your hopes up. I promise you, you will return to this year after year, season after season, and you'll be ready to embrace all the goodness that's coming your way. Details are in the show notes. I hope to see you there. I want to leave you with this one verse. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is praiseworthy, think about such things. Philippians 4:8. Let's get our hopes up, friends.
Friend, let's celebrate. You've just finished another episode of There Will Be Joy. So I challenge you, find a friend to share this episode with, give them a big hug for me, and remember, keep spreading joy. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite platform and join our free Patreon community. And as always, leave a review if you're finding value in these episodes because it means the world to me.